Today, we are opening up a 66 million-year-old cold case. We're going to expose one of the biggest deceptions in history. And it's all about a sound that you think you know, but trust me, you have no idea.
Oh, you definitely know this sound. It's that earth-shaking, bone-chilling roar that basically defined an entire movie franchise and shaped how all of us picture the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is the sound of the ultimate predator.
And yeah, about that sound, it's a complete and total fabrication. It's a brilliant piece of Hollywood magic, but it's fiction. The real T-Rex didn't roar like a lion or a tiger or anything else for that matter. In fact, it didn't roar at all. The truth is, well, it's a lot weirder, and honestly, way more terrifying. If you were standing next to a real T-Rex, you wouldn't just hear it, you would feel it, like a deep vibration right in your chest.
Okay, so to get to the truth, we first have to take apart the lie. And to do that, we have to sneak into the top-secret audio files of Jurassic Park.
The man behind this whole thing is sound designer Gary Rydstrom. And you gotta admit, he had an impossible job. Create a voice for an animal no one had heard for 66 million years. No pressure, right? He actually spent months recording all sorts of animal sounds, just trying to find the perfect mix.
So what did he land on? Basically an auditory Frankenmonster, a carefully pieced together recipe for pure terror. The high-pitched screechy part, that's a baby elephant squeal. That deep, rumbling low part is an alligator gurgling. And all that aggressive power, you can thank a tiger's snarl for that.
So here's the key takeaway. Hollywood gave a reptile the voice of a mammal. Why? Well, it's genius, really, because we're mammals. And that sound of a big cat roaring is hardwired into our DNA to make us feel fear. It was an emotionally brilliant move, but scientifically, it was a beautiful mistake.
All right, so that's the Hollywood story. Now let's get into the real forensics. To understand what a T-Rex actually sounded like, we have to look at its anatomy. And the first clue is what it's missing.
And this is the central question, isn't it? A lion roars using a larynx, a voice box, which is a very specific mammal thing. Dinosaurs are not mammals. You know, their closest living relatives today are actually crocodiles and birds. So, how in the world did they make noise? Well, the answer seems to be a technique called closed-mouth vocalization. A lot of its largest living relatives, we're talking big birds, make sound this way. Just think about a pigeon cooing. They don't open their beaks and shout, right? They push air through a pouch in their neck, and it creates this deep, resonant hum, all with their mouth shut. And this is where the fossil record lines up perfectly with modern animals. The anatomy strongly suggests that a T-Rex's sound production would be way more like its modern cousins on the right, the ostrich and the cassowary, who are absolute masters of this closed-mouth technique. So let's just pause for a second and really picture this. The mighty T-Rex, the tyrant lizard king, leans back and lets out a deep, rumbling coo, like a 40-foot-long chicken. It kind of kills the mood, doesn't it? Suddenly, the king of the dinosaurs sounds a whole lot less intimidating. But don't be fooled. Do not laugh this off, because the reality is so much more terrifying than any Hollywood roar. A paleontologist named Julia Clark decided to actually reconstruct this sound, and what she discovered is pure nightmare fuel. So back in 2017, Professor Clark's team took that closed-mouth vocalization of a bird called the Eurasian bittern, which is known for its deep, booming call, and they mixed it with the low rumble of a Chinese crocodile. Then, using computer models, they scaled that sound way up to match the massive size of a T-Rex. And when naturalist Chris Packham heard the result for a BBC documentary, this was his reaction. He completely understood the weight of that moment. They were about to bring a ghost back to life.
So, for what you're about to hear, I want you to do the same thing he did. If you have headphones, please put them on now. Turn the volume up, because you are about to hear what scientists believe is the real voice of the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
So what you just experienced, it wasn't just a sound, it was infrasound. We're talking about frequencies so low that your ears can barely even pick them up. You don't just hear infrasound, you feel it. It's a physical vibration that travels right through the ground and air, and it resonates with the cavities in your own body, your chest, your bones. And that feeling, that invisible, unheard pressure, that is what turned this sound into a weapon.
a weapon far more effective and way more terrifying than any roar could ever hope to be. It made the T-Rex a better hunter.
I mean, just think it through. A loud roar is basically an announcement. It shouts, "Here I am, I'm coming to get you." It gives the prey a nice, clear direction to run away from. But a low-frequency rumble, it's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You can't tell where it's coming from. It's designed to paralyze you with a deep, primal fear long before you ever know where the danger is. It's the ultimate weapon for an ambush predator.
So let's close the case file on this prehistoric deception and lay out the final verdict once and for all.
On one side, you've got the Hollywood monster. Loud roar, basically a mammal, a sound you hear. It's a theatrical threat. On the other side, you have the prehistoric ghost, a deep rumble, part bird and part reptile, a presence you feel. That's not a threat, that's a biological weapon.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. The next time you see a T-Rex skeleton in a museum, try to ignore that Hollywood soundtrack that automatically starts playing in your head. Instead, imagine that deep, silent pressure building in your chest, and ask yourself, which is truly more terrifying? The monster you can hear coming, or the one you can feel in your bones?